everybody. My name is Rigo Jimenez. I am the Cal Poly Entrepreneurs Podcast Director. And who do I have the privilege of speaking with today?
Hey everybody, my name is Tyler G. I'm the CEO and founder of GEEZ.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the upbringing before GEEZ?
Yeah, so essentially I've been born and raised in California. It was a small town at the time, but not so small anymore, in Roseville. So it's about, 45 minutes outside of Sac.
Okay.
So yeah, born and raised there. Kind of grew up in sports my whole life. My mom played collegiate soccer, and sports were always a big thing. So it was
nice.
going up in soccer, and then ended up transitioning over to cross country and track. And this, well, I'll kind of touch on it a little bit more with GEEZ and everything, but that was a really huge part of my upbringing, and just being involved in finding success so early in running, and it ended up bringing me to this point now. I kind of had the opportunities to run at the collegiate level and ended up losing those my junior year due to some stress fractures that I ended up having. So kind of found my way in college and ended up in a position where I am now. And it's kind of cool. Everything went full circle, but that was kind of my upbringing leading up to this point.
That's so cool. Are you a third year?
Third year, yep. Third year at Cal Poly, finance major. I started out at Cal Poly as public health, which is like kind of a curveball. Wasn't in the business school to start off. Was public health for 2 years. And this is my first quarter as a business major.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of crazy. So yeah, I'm going to be concentrating in finance. I have a minor in sales, but that's like my educational background for anyone that's interested. But
that's cool. No, that's a cool upbringing for sure. And I just noticed, but you have GEEZ on your knuckles.
Oh yeah, we got the custom GEEZ rings right here.
Oh yeah, show that to the camera.
These came in I don't know, maybe a few months ago. Just some marketing materials. We got the drip on as well. Come on, we got
that's fire.
But yeah, dude, just doing what I can. This is part of the brand. So.
No, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit more about your business, GEEZ?
Yeah. So essentially, GEEZ is a luxury oral pouch company. We are utilizing caffeine and electrolytes in pouch form. So here I have I'm sure this looks familiar to a lot of users, but essentially oral pouches you administer them between your lip and your gum, and you deliver the supplements or whatever you have in the pouch through there. Where the luxury aspect kind of comes in, and where the innovative kind of thing comes in on our side, is we're integrating gold into every single pouch.
Real gold.
Real gold.
Oh, wow.
So gold flakes are embedded into every single pouch. That's kind of where our premium prestige aspect kind of comes in through the product and through the brand.
And my question is, what about the gold? Does it help you athletically, or how does the gold?
It's really, I would say there's no scientific backing of gold helping performance or anything at all. I'm not making any claims there. It's really more on the prestige factor of the product, the luxury side.
The luxury side. Oh, okay.
And as we'll kind of get more into through the podcast, a lot of what GEEZ has been my passions, my experiences, and just my upbringing, like we mentioned, kind of wrapped into a product. So as you can kind of see with what I got on now, and kind of just everything that I'm about,
no, that's cool. Yeah,
all my passions and experiences are wrapped into the product. But I mean, to answer your question, yeah, the gold is not helping you in any way performance wise, but it's kind of where that luxury prestige aspect kind of comes in.
No, yeah, I love the flashiness of GEEZ as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, for sure. And then my next question for you is, what inspired you with the idea behind GEEZ? Was there a specific moment in your life, or did you always think about it?
Yeah, no, it wasn't I wouldn't say there was a single moment where I was like, oh my God, this is the whole plan. This is what GEEZ is going to be, and I'm going to run with it. It was definitely a work in progress. I think if you talked to me last year about what we were doing with GEEZ, a lot of people were already laughing at it. Not like people aren't doubting it now, but we're just a lot further along than we used to be. But GEEZ essentially started out, the initial idea formation came from back when I was in high school. I was running, again, cross country, track and field, and I was competing at a pretty high level in the state of California. And I used to go to this camp that was coached by the UCLA head coach every single year. And one of the biggest dreads for a lot of runners out there is a long run, where you would go anywhere for the high caliber kind of guys on that side, it'd be anywhere from 13 miles to 16 miles on typically the weekend. And one of the biggest issues with that is staying hydrated, staying replenished, staying energized, right? So we kind of had two options that we ran into. Either A, you carry like this small water bottle that's filled with just like a nasty sludge of like supplement powders and salt and pretty much sugar, kind of just keep you going through the workout. And or what I ended up started doing, and some of my other buddies and now competitors that are still competing in NCAA now, is we would just get like electrolyte powder or like caffeine powder and just like shove it right here in between our gum and just leave it there. So there's just like a massive like dusting of like supplement powder right there in our cheek, like chipmunking it. And, that would kind of keep us going throughout the workout. But it was something we did, and it was something I didn't really think about. I didn't really think much of it at the time. And as I kind of started moving along, I was like, hey, this could be something that, not only runners could use, but it has way broader markets in the sports industry. And, now with the luxury side tapping into those celebrity markets as well. So that's kind of the initial idea of GEEZ and how it started.
Okay, no, that's pretty cool because also from what I understand, right underneath your tongue in that area is really good at absorbing, like, for example, if you put a pill down there, it's going to absorb all the medicine way faster. Right. Is that the same way with GEEZ? Like it absorbs like it more and faster?
Yeah, I'm no doctor, but yes. So it's called sublingual absorption. That's like the medical term for it. But yeah, when you administer something in the inner lining, it's called like the oh my god, like the inner mucosa of your lip.
Yeah,
it will go to the blood-brain barrier a lot quicker than if you were to like take a pill or something, or like drink something
and fill your stomach so now you can't run.
Exactly, and that was kind of the problem. Is for a lot of runners, whether you are going into a race or you have a long run, you can't just go down a Monster. You can't go down a Starbucks latte because it's gonna, one, you're gonna get a side ache, or two, you're gonna run into other issues. If you know what I'm saying, down under later. So. Those were kind of the options we had, and that's kind of where GEEZ started from. Like that's where it originated from. I guess you could say.
No, that's really interesting. And what are some of the biggest obstacles you faced when starting GEEZ, and how did you eventually overcome them?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I think in starting something, that's always the hardest part. I mean, starting out, coming out of my freshman year, and again, kind of just a little more background. Coming into college, I thought I was going to be running at the collegiate level. I was going to be living that lifestyle. And all of a sudden, what I thought I was going to be doing kind of got stripped away. And there was definitely, honestly, just like an identity crisis in there. So it was like I was trying to find my way in what I was doing. And I think, honestly, that was probably the hardest part before GEEZ even like kind of came to life. That was one of the hardest stages in my life because running had been in the picture for so long. And, especially when you're so young, like I started, finding a lot of success in running in like middle school, and you don't really think about what you're going to be doing in college and beyond at that point in your life. You're kind of just like, oh, I'm so focused and passionate about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing this for as long as who knows how long. It's like the future's so far away, you don't think about it. But yeah, freshman year really got hit in the face on, oh my God, okay, I'm not running anymore. What am I going to be doing? What's my purpose? And, one of the biggest obstacles was that. But in terms of the business itself, again, I think the hardest part is always starting. I mean, you don't have any money, you don't have any merit. It's kind of just an idea, and you're kind of just riding that wave and seeing how far you can take it. But coming out of freshman year, I actually lived by myself for an entire year. I got a studio.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, tucked away in SLO. And
how was that life, living by yourself as a senior?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was pretty unconventional. I don't know a lot of people that have do that. Their second year go and live by themselves. I mean, I learned so much, and I think I attest a lot of where GEEZ is now to that year. I mean, that was one of the hardest years of my life personally and with the business. But I think living by yourself, you learn so much about how you operate, and just having that time and honestly the peace and quiet of just being with yourself and being with your thoughts, you can really find what you want to get after in your life. And that's what it was for me. But it was definitely the hardest part in starting GEEZ. I feel like that was the grind period, and now it's not necessarily easier. There's more problems as you kind of move along, but I think getting it off the ground was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done.
It basically made you stronger for whatever comes. Yeah.
And I knew that it was going to be setting me up to get into the position that I am now. And now that I'm in that position, it's like you can look back on those times and be grateful for.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah.
Were there any influences or like family mentors that pushed you or helped you, or like did you have anyone that was your pillar of support, basically?
Great question. I mean, I think mentors in any aspect can always help you along. They kind of teach you, like, because they've gone and done it before. They can kind of teach you the ropes on things to avoid. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me and kind of the story of my life, I've never actually really had that kind of mentor kind of to guide me along through things. I mean, whether it was in the sports side or whatever, a lot of it was kind of me, grinding my way and figuring it out myself. But I will say there's definitely guys that I looked up to, and I was able to get in contact with them. They're actually Cal Poly alum.
Oh, nice.
So Pat Bissett and Matt Canepa, they're from Grinds. They ended up starting a similar company, actually, in coffee pouches. And I was able to get in contact with them. They've scaled way up now. But they were super cool, giving me insight on the company and kind of the industry. But they're running their own multi-million-dollar business now. I try and keep in contact with them as much as I can, but I know they're busy and I want to respect that. But they have been really cool to me, and I actually ended up meeting up with one of them, like literally at Jamba and Slow, like in spring quarter last year. That was really cool. But in terms of other mentors, I honestly haven't really had a pillar mentor to kind of look after. But I think me learning all those things along the way has kind of allowed for me to bring a lot of perspective to people that are looking to start something.
No, yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
And did you always see yourself becoming an entrepreneur, or how did that path find you?
Yeah, no, the answer is no. I did not, kind of think from like day one, like, oh yeah, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. And I think that term gets thrown around so much now, being an entrepreneur. And obviously everyone wants to be self-employed. Everyone wants to be their own boss. But again, kind of what I was touching on earlier, with me and running, like, that was always something that I knew was in the cards. If I had it my way, I know in another life I'd still be running collegiately right now. And the way I kind of looked at it was, I kind of now have another 4 years to figure out what I want to do, versus if I wasn't doing this, I'd still be going balls to the walls with running. And that's like another message to a lot of people out there that, are kind of considering going on to compete at the collegiate level. I think you really have to ask yourself, hey, where am I at in my athletic career? Am I coming to a close? Am I really past my prime now? And I think it's a really hard conversation to have for a lot of guys. And a lot of my friends are in this boat. They just can't give it up. I mean, they've been doing this sport for so long. And, they end up going to a school that is not very prestigious in their sport, but they just want to stay tied to it. But the way I look at it is, if you kind of cling on to that false hope for so long, you're only setting yourself back in the future when that dream does end. So I kind of ripped the Band-Aid off. I was like, hey, I do have opportunities to run at that collegiate level, but I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to recalibrate where I'm at, and I'm going to apply that mindset to something else. Mm-hmm. But actually, ask me that question again. I'll re-answer it more directly. But I mean, that was kind of a little bit of a workaround to it. But go ahead, and if you prompt it again, I can answer it more directly.
like so at first you didn't see yourself becoming an entrepreneur. First you wanted to be more of an athlete, right? And then all of a sudden you became to realize that, hey, I should put this energy into something else, because I actually am starting to see not so much of a future when running, right? Yeah.
So it kind of, and the cards kind of fell that way. I think it was a little bit of a give and take. Like, I still had the opportunity to run at the collegiate level, but there was also a part of me that knew I wasn't going to be able to compete at the level that I wanted to be at.
Around what time did you realize that, okay, I'm going to pursue entrepreneurship instead?
I think it was honestly like sophomore year, beginning of sophomore year, that I really was like, hey, this is something that I can really go after. Everyone my whole life was always telling me, this sounds so corny, but this is really true. Everyone was always like, oh, I can see you being a business owner. I can see you owning your own company. And I was kind of like, yeah, bro, whatever. I'm trying to go run and compete collegiately and potentially professionally. That was always the goal. So I was kind of like, yeah, dude, I'll figure that out later. I'm not really thinking about that. But, once my running career kind of came to a close, I was like, dang, I really got to kind of figure out what I'm going to do now. And, I mean, it kind of just, the idea came to me and I kind of went after it. But it would really be sophomore year that I was really like, hey, I have this business idea. I really objectively see a future of growth with it. And if it can, on top of that, wrap my passions into, what I'm working on, then it's kind of like, why would you not go and chase after that?
No, yeah, 100%. I agree. What's like one ritual or habit, or what's one micro action that you did, that you always did, and that you blame for your success?
Okay, yeah.
Any good habits, basically?
Yeah, I mean, I think, a lot of starting something it sounds so like cliche, but it really is time management. I think there's really just so much you can be doing, especially in college. There's so many different avenues you can go on that it's almost like you can really dip your feet in like 7 different pools and try and go after 7 different things and really kind of be like a generalist versus a specialist. And this is kind of what I always tell people: if you really have like that feeling about something, you kind of have to chase after it. And when you're amidst doing that, people are going to realize it and people are going to want some of that energy, and you're going to get opportunities to be a part of so many different things. But you have to choose that piece and choose that passion of what you really in your heart of hearts want to go after. And being able to choose that piece is kind of one of the hardest things, especially in college. Like, you have to choose to not go out on some Friday nights. You have to choose to be staying up late and getting up early. I mean, it sounds so cliche. It sounds like, oh yeah, like you got to grind.
No, yeah, I agree. And that ties with discipline,
Yeah.
Discipline 100%. And time management are like this, because if you're undisciplined, you're not going to manage your time.
Right.
You're going to waste your time doing something. You're going to watch a show. You're going to not go to the gym. You're not going to do this, yada, yada.
It's all about systems. It's all about getting in a rhythm with things. That's what I always talk about. If you can get in the rhythm, you'll realize the momentum. And once you see that momentum, it's, I'm one of those people that gets pretty extreme about things. And when I build up that momentum, I keep going with it. And, there's not a lot of things that can kind of pull me down from there. So I kind of always try and buy into that. I know a lot of people always say, don't always rely on motivation over discipline. But I think one of the best pieces of advice that I've gotten and that I tell people is, if your why is strong enough, the how is no matter. So if your reasoning for what you're doing and your passion is really there, how you get there is you're going to find your way. Because you care about so much, you're so passionate about, you're going to find a way to make it happen. Would
you say that's like the advice you would give to upcoming entrepreneurs then?
Yeah, I mean, that would be one of them. I think, again, if your why is strong enough, the how is no matter. That is probably one of the biggest pieces I would give to people. Another one that I think has been huge is, it's on my notes. Let me find it real quick. Where is it? Oh, there it is. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your standards. So
Can you elaborate on that?
I'll say it again. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your standards. And I think a lot of people, whether you're starting a business or you're an athlete, you envision what that perfect scenario is, what that perfect life is. But that's not always what it's like. When you get to where your goals are, that's one of the craziest things, whether you're an athlete or starting a business, is when you actually begin to build that momentum and actually get towards the goals you've been working for. Because when you're starting out, it's like just a dream, right? You're like, oh, this would be really cool if I was able to get this far along. But, sometimes you get to a point where you actually get into that position where you're like, holy crap, like what I used to envision like a year ago is kind of happening now. Yeah. Like, for like doing a podcast, I would genuinely not even imagine doing a pod with CPE a year ago. Like, that would not even been in my thoughts. But like, not even to glaze you guys. No. It's like, I think a lot of people believe if they can just put themselves in the position to win, that means they're going to perform perfectly when that time comes. And that's not what happens. You're going to fall to the systems you've put in place, what you've kind of built up over so long.
No, yeah. 100%.
I mean, this could go for, again, starting a business, being an athlete, in an interview. Like, you may not always like have that perfect picturesque experience, but if you have all those systems in place and that stuff built up over time, that's really what's going to get you through at the end of the day.
No, yeah. I agree 100%.
Yeah, dude.
Wait, say it one more time. You don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your standards. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Okay, next question. Looking back, is there something that you would change from GEEZ before starting it? Or like basically if you were to go back in time, what would you change? Or would you change anything?
Would I change
about GEEZ, yeah.
Okay. Yes, there are a few things that I would have changed. I think a lot of people always like want to give this like bullcrap answer of like, I wouldn't change a thing because it made me like who I am now. And there's some truth in that, right? But there would be some things that I would advise against for some people that are starting up. I think there's a big notion in, if you just start, you'll figure it out. And, there's no perfect time to start. Don't wait for the perfect time. While I do agree with that, I think a lot of people kind of get caught up in this, oh my God, I need to move 1,000,000 miles an hour to get this off the ground. And while you do need to move quickly,
yes,
you can be, what's the word? You can overstep and be over ambitious on what you're going for. Like, perfect example. I don't know if these guys will ever see it, but the guys from Grinds, these were guys I was really looking up to, Pat and Matt. They were like on Shark Tank. Again, they're Cal Poly alum. They're on the baseball team. Brought their Cal Poly idea. They won IQ back in the day and brought it to Shark Tank.
No, yeah.
So they were, guys that I was really looking forward to talk to. I was super hyped about it. And you can imagine me in my studio. It's just me in there. Like, it's like I'm sitting in my gaming chair. I'm about to hop on this call with like these like millionaire entrepreneurs from Cal Poly. It's like kind of the perfect connection. And I was working really hard to get in a chat with them. And I got to that point and I like folded. I was super nervous. I didn't really know I wasn't asking the right questions. I just wasn't ready to talk to them. I wasn't far enough along with GEEZ. And I feel like
by folded, would you mean like you ruined the opportunity?
I wouldn't say I ruined the opportunity, but first impressions matter, right? And I think, I got a little overzealous in how fast I was moving. And I just wasn't far along enough to provide enough value to provide like on their end. I feel like they didn't see enough value in how far along I was with GEEZ right now. And I'm still in contact with them and everything. It's great. But I do think that, you do need to be mindful with how fast you're trying to grow. Because I think people just think if I just, continue going pedal to the metal with everything, the wheels may fall off. And you just got to make sure that you are being calculated while you still are moving fast.
That would be one thing. Reckless.
Yeah, and it wouldn't even. Yeah, you could say reckless, but I think you just got to be mindful of how fast you're moving and really take a step back, recollect yourself, and kind of see where you're really at in the business and see how far along you are. Because I think so early on, there's so many mistakes that can be made that's what makes entrepreneurship so hard. Is some of the hardest parts are just getting off the ground and. When you're really starting something, you're not used to being in that entrepreneurship space. And that's why it's so tough for a lot of people. That's why you don't see a lot of, early young people start to get off the ground, is because it kind of hits you like a truck, like right off the bat. And if you can't, navigate that and find ways around it, it's not going to grow in time for you to find real success.
Yeah. And that is what is expected when you start a business, You're gonna hit a problem,
right? Every
single business owner has met a problem. It's never been smooth,
Yeah, and there's always gonna be problems. Like, I think people think like, oh, once you launch your business, like it's all over. You can just sit back and relax. Like the problems keep coming, and I don't think running a business necessarily gets easier once you start out. Like, I think
you just get stronger.
Yeah, you get exactly. You get used to dealing with it. You get more experience. Back to what we were talking about, your standards get higher. Your standards get higher. You don't raise to the occasion, right? You fall to your standards, and your standards get higher as you kind of have more experience in entrepreneurship and starting your business.
Yeah, don't wish for easier days. Exactly. Wish for to be stronger people.
Yeah,
I butchered it so bad. Oh my.
Good, play it again.
I thought that was tough.
Rewind it, bro. Put this guy on the edit, bro. Run it again.
Don't wish for easier days. Wish to be stronger people. Okay, that was not tough. But anyways,
no, you're good.
Where do you imagine GEEZ in about 5 to 10 years? What's the game plan?
Yeah, 10 years, man. That's pretty crazy down the line. I think I'll give you a 3-year plan.
3-year plan?
I think that's a lot more me. I think for the people viewing, they could get a better grasp of where we're headed.
That makes sense.
So again, with us tapping into that luxury side, the end goal has always been for me to go to LA, Los Angeles. Well, not even with the company, But just since I was
distribute in LA.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've always, as a kid, just had this calling to go to LA once I was pretty much the age I am now. And in 3 years, I'll tell you now, one of the big goals with GEEZ once we start to scale is getting into the Olympics. Oh, nice. So we're trying to get the product into the Olympics because obviously there's a bunch of different athlete, markets in there. And I think I'm kind of giving you the business plan, the business model of how we're going about with GEEZ. But, I'll look at a lot of high caliber athletes, look at Usain Bolt, look at Tom Brady, look at all these guys. They're athletes, but they're also celebrities as well. Like look at LeBron. Like he's an athlete. Yeah, he's a basketball player, but he's also a public figure. He's a celebrity. So by being able to tap into these athlete markets to start, we can broaden our horizons into celebrity markets and really kind of penetrate in on that luxury side.
Yeah.
And so one of the main drivers that we're going to be getting after in the next 3 years is getting out to LA and kind of running the business from there, and me operating out of there and, maintaining strategic relationships out there as well. So that's kind of the 3-year plan of where we're going from here. I'm looking to go down to LA this summer, and then, I'll be a senior next year too. So, trying to be down there as much as I can. I have some connects down in LA already. So trying to build off of those. But again, in LA Olympics 2028, maybe I can clip this in 3 years. You will see GEEZ in the Olympics to some degree, whether it's the athletes, whether it's a sponsor, we will be there. Clip it.
Mark his words.
Clip it, chat. Clip it.
Yeah. And have you tapped to the farmers market yet?
No, I haven't. That was something that I thought of when I originally was thinking of like getting GEEZ off the ground. But our company is going to be very based on prestige. We're not going to be like giving out free samples here and there. Like it's going to there's going to be a lot of limited supply when we're doing product drops. So it's not going to be, something you see out on like Dexter Lawn or like out at the farmer's market. That was a business model we were considering early stage, like when I was first starting out with the idea for GEEZ. But
because doesn't a business kind of, even if it's prestige, it needs like a little spark, it needs a little like flame to burst. And then once it's exploded, then limited to create the mint.
Right. No, yeah, that's a good point. I'll tell you kind of that burst that we're talking about. So when we initially launch, we're going to be looking to have partnerships with like high caliber athletes in the runners market. So we're going to be using those to kind of streamline our initial like launch and outreach, getting the word out about GEEZ. And that's kind of how we're going to maintain that prestige aspect, that premium aspect all the way through. Mm-hmm. So we kind of, I guess you could say, skip that sampling process if I were to go out in the farmer's market and whatnot. In my eyes and in my vision, I think if we were to go out and do sampling like that, it would almost lower the brand value of what we're kind of trying to portray with the company. So it just wouldn't really align with company mission, with company core values and kind of what we're going after. So that is kind of the main reason why I wouldn't go out to go do sampling or things like that. But we are still looking to, get the word out about GEEZ as much as we can, but it would just be in different avenues.
No, yeah, for sure. Have you done any marketing on socials?
Yeah, so we have our Instagram up. You guys can go run it. It opened up like literally we opened it like a month ago. I have a marketing team working on our marketing campaign.
Is it at GEEZ or?
Yeah, it's at GEEZ Pouches. So GEEZ Pouches, POUCHES. I was trying to do GEEZ, but it was taken, bro.
Oh, really?
I guess it's not that crazy. I like DM'd the dude. He was like some random dude in like LA, I think. His name's not even G, bro. Like he doesn't even have my last name, but his name was like just GEEZ. But hey, maybe like once the business continues to grow, that could be something where I could maybe like actually claim the name and verify it.
Yeah.
But again, GEEZ Pouches. We have some marketing materials that'll be coming out really soon. And they're gonna be pretty similar to some content I'm sure you've seen out on TikTok and other platforms. But yeah, we'll be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and stuff as well. But our main marketing is gonna be going through Instagram.
Okay, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's the last of my questions. Is there anything else you want to tell the viewers, any young entrepreneurs, anything? Now that we're wrapping up this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, hey, we're launching in December. So stay tuned for that. Again, follow us on the Instagram. will be on there. Again, really appreciate your guys' time with CPE. This has been a great experience.
Thank you
Maybe
so much.
I'll be back on the pod like sometime around next year or something when things have kind of continued to grow.
Oh, that'd be cool to catch up.
Yeah. Like a little check in like from a year later kind of thing could be cool. But I mean, last thing to the viewers, I think, is just, I think entrepreneurship will find you. This will be the last thing I'll leave them with. I think it'll find you. I think a lot of people now are kind of thinking like, I just want to be an entrepreneur. That's the career path I'm going to go down, but they don't really have any idea of how they're going to go about that.
Mm-hmm.
It will find you. And once it does, it's going to be a no-brainer for how you chase after it. I think the way I look at GEEZ and all the naysayers and whatever, at the end of the day, I'm doing what is fulfilling me in this life. And I think, whether there's a million people hating on it, I know in my heart of hearts, this is, a bigger than life thing that I'm chasing after. And I think when you can find something that you're that passionate about,
for sure,
it really becomes a no-brainer. You don't mind sacrificing all these different things to chase after it, because I think especially early on in entrepreneurship, there is a time limit on, the amount of time that you have to get something off the ground. And especially with us in college, and, I think this audience is going to be a lot of, college student people that are thinking about, starting a company. Don't be fooled. There is a time limit on how long you have to get it off the ground and how long, you kind of have to figure things out. And I think, take full advantage of the time that you have while you're in undergrad, because, it's really a priceless time that, you can really take advantage of when you're still young. So that would be the biggest advice I give you guys.
I agree.
And again, if the why is strong enough, the how is no matter.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take anything away from the pod, remember that.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep.
And stay tuned for the next one.
Yep.
Enjoy.